welcome to Skill 4, the transform command. Now in the last task we used the move tool to move all these images on top of our base image. And they're obscuring it a bit. We need to be able to make them smaller, just so we can see through to the background layer and make an interesting composition. Now I'll start with this top one, the Flying Scotsman one, so I'm going to click on that one, and you can see that's activated now Montage 1 layer. And I'm going to find Transform. Now Transform is in the Edit menu. If I go to Edit, and I'm going to come down, I've got Free Transform, or I've got Transform, which gives me some options. For today I'm just going to select Free Transform. Now it has got a keyboard shortcut of Command and T or Control and T if you're on a Windows machine. And I'm just going to click on that, and it'll put these little, what they call control handles, these little squares that you can see around in the corners and in the center. These are called control handles, and these are what I'm going to grab to do my scaling. Now I want to scale in proportion. If I want to make sure that the proportion at the end is the same as the proportion at the beginning, then I'm going to use a modifier key, and the one I'm going to choose is the Shift key. If I hold the Shift key down and then I hover over one of these corner points and I click and I drag, it will make the image smaller. It'll resize it, but it will do it in proportion. And then I let go of the mouse button and I let go of the key. And then I've got my move tool again, so I can go into the image and I can click and drag it and put it up in this corner. Now while you're in transform, if you move outside the transform, you can see that my cursor changes to like a bendy arrow. And what I can do now is if I click and drag, I can rotate it around its center point. So I'm just going to rotate it a little bit just to put it at a little bit of a quirky angle. And I like that. Now when I've finished and I want to finish off the transform and get rid of these control handles, then I go up to the toolbar at the top, and you'll see we've got a little no entry sign and we've got a tick, and the tick means to set down this transform or to commit the transform. Or I can press the enter key on the keyboard, but I'm just going to click that now to make that transform. Right, okay, well we've done it with one, let's do it with all the others. So I'm going to go over to the Flying Scotsman image, and I'm going to click on it, and you'll see in the layers panel it's selected it for me. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut this time of Control or Command and T to bring up my control handles. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and click on any one of these corners and drag it down so it does it in proportion. I'm going to let go of my mouse and let go of my key, and then click and drag it and put it in another position. And again I can move outside the actual transform itself, and I'll just click and drag it just to give it a little bit of a dynamic angle. And then I'm going to go up to the tick on the tool options bar at the top, and I'm going to click to set it down. Okay, let's try that now again with the Flying Scotsman Returns. I'm going to click on that one, and that's going to bring up Montage 3 as an active layer. Again, I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut because I like them. Command and T, hold the Shift key down, drag that corner in, let go of my mouse, let go of the key, and then drag it to where I want it. And then just move outside the transform. There we go. We've got the bendy arrow, and I'm going to click and drag and leave it there. Now a cute little shortcut to save you going up and clicking the tick is if you want to commit this transform, you can double click anywhere inside the image here. So if I double click, that's doing exactly the same as going up and clicking on the tick. It accepts the transform for me. And then finally I'm going to go over to the Flying Scotsman flag. I'm going to click on that. It makes my image live. I'm going to Command and T to get into transform. I'm going to hold the Shift key down, grab a corner point and drag it down. And then I'm going to click and drag it to move it up so I can move it in the image. I'll make it a little bit smaller again, just again holding the shift key down and dragging a corner. I'll move outside and I'll click and drag just to put it at another quirky angle, and then I'm going to double click inside the transform here to accept it. Double click and there we go. So that's it, we've got all of our images all transformed, all at nice angles that we think is good, but they're not really standing out from the background. So in the next video what we're going to do, we're going to add an effect. We're going to actually put like a little photo border around each of these images, and we're going to use an effect to do that, and we're going to do that in the very next video. I'll see you there. Bye for now.